You're listening to Careers and Cocktails, Career Talk with a Twist, hosted by expert recruiter Renee Frey. Let's get this party started.
Hey party people, welcome back to Careers and Cocktails. And I'm thrilled to have someone from my alumni, the college that I went to. She works at the college that I went to, the University of Wisconsin, River Falls, Melissa Wilson. Thank you so much for coming. She's the Director of Career Services, so we're going to get into some juicy conversation that you're all going to walk away with value bombs. But first, her favorite drink is a Sparkling Apple Mocktail. Now, tell me, why do you love this drink?
It incorporates fruit, a little bit of herb as well, just kind of gives it a fun smell, flavor.
Yep.
And then the mocktail part of it, just sparkling apple cider, so anyone can have it.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed. After McKenna came on the show from UW River Falls with the rosemary, I'm obsessed with it in drinks. Okay, so what you need for the Sparkling Apple Mocktail is a bottle of sparkling apple cider. We are using Martinelli's Gold Medal Sparkling Cider, 1 orange thinly sliced, 1 lime thinly sliced, 1 grapefruit thinly sliced, and a large sprig of rosemary. So let's get this party started. We're going to put 1 slice of orange, lime, and grapefruit in a glass, and then pour the cider over and add a sprig of rosemary. Piece of cake. Okay, so you like grapefruit in yours?
I do.
Okay, orange in your glass, grapefruit in your glass. Ooh, it's so pretty. Lime. Pour you some sparkling cider. And I love anything with bubbles in it. I'm obsessed with champagne, Prosecco, Cava, LaCroix sparkling water. There's your drink. And then I'll do the same in mine, except I'm going to skip the grapefruit. I'm not a big fan. Oh, we forgot your rosemary.
Perfect.
There.
Look how pretty that is.
It's so pretty. I might have to add another lime in mine just because. So it's as colorful as yours. All right, I'm going to add another lime and then the rosemary. Let's taste this. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yum.
So good.
That is so good. So, Melissa, tell us who you are. Tell us your elevator pitch.
Sure. I'm Melissa Wilson. I work at the University of Wisconsin, River Falls. I'm the Director of Career Services. I also teach a little bit at the college for our school counseling program and our College of Business and Economics. And then because I want to do more and be more active in the community, I also do some leadership consulting outside of my work. So work with the local chambers of commerce and their leadership programs, which is really fun. Get to meet like the up and coming and already established leadership folks within the community. And then I'm also a certified etiquette consultant.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys have done the etiquette dinners on campus for the students.
Forever.
Do you still do those?
We do. Now we're doing them once a year. And so we'll have around 140 students, a 5-course meal, sorbet as a palate cleanser. For a lot of students, it's the first time they've ever had something like that or something so formal.
I know.
And it's really fun to take them through start to finish, which silverware to use, how to pass the bread, that kind of thing. Where to place your napkin if you're, leaving the table, all of those kinds of things. And speaking of napkins, I have a gift for you.
Oh, and you did not need to bring me a gift.
Well, I couldn't resist.
Okay.
I saw it and I knew this was coming up and I just had to.
Oh, I'm excited to see.
Had to do it.
What a fun box. All right. We're unboxing the mystery gift from Melissa.
It's something for your home. Not so much for work, but something more that you could have in the kitchen.
Oh my God, that is so funny. It says Real Housewives of Hudson, Wisconsin. Oh my God, and it's a perfect towel. Oh my God. Where did you find this?
At Etc. across the street.
Oh my God, I love it. That is so funny. That is perfect.
So fun.
Thank
Yes,
you
you're
so
welcome.
much.
Yeah.
You're so thoughtful.
I wish they had one for River Falls, but they didn't.
Oh, they
Otherwise,
didn't?
That could
Well, you
hang
gotta
in my
get,
oven.
you call the manufacturer or you start making them and selling them on Etsy yourself.
Yeah, right?
That's what I say. Awesome. Well, thank
fun.
you so much.
Yeah.
So with your role, at Career Services, tell me, what's the greatest challenge you see that students are having today?
Well, believing in themselves. And I think that's a challenge when you're working with any career client at any point in the process, really is making sure that they understand what skills and abilities they bring to the table, that they are amazing, that they have something to offer, to be confident in that as well, I think is really important. I think a lot of college students think, I've gone to school, I've maybe had an internship or two, but look at all these people that have years of experience. And so reminding them that everyone started somewhere, and really to just believe in themselves, I think is probably one of the main challenges that we face as career counselors on a college campus.
Wow. And what do you do to help them build that confidence? Because there's so much involved in that. I have 2 daughters and I want them to be as confident as I am. I secretly wish if I could give everyone the same confidence that I have, I totally would. I'm still figuring out how to spread that, but until I do, I asked my other confident female friends, like, what was it growing up? Because I want to make sure I do that for my daughter. So I'm curious to hear, how do you get them to start building confidence when they don't have it?
Well, I think a lot of it happens, some of it happens in the classroom when they find success in a class or with a project or a group, but a lot of it happens outside of the classroom as well. I think with youth, being engaged and involved and active in things outside of school is so important. So whether that be Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, sports, music, band, whatever it is, all of those types of things really build the skills that you need to be successful in the world and the workplace. So team building, handling a difficult situation, time management, all of those types of things I think are skills that you learn by being active at an early age. You don't need to.
Absolutely.
I think we also sometimes overextend our children and they're involved in maybe too much. So as parents, kind of helping them find that balance is really important too, because you don't want them to burn out.
I know.
Either, because that can be that can lower their confidence.
Right.
Too.
Exactly. So Melissa, you're gonna pretend I'm like half the size. Well, actually, probably a third of the size. I'm a little kindergartner sitting at my desk, and explain to me what you do for a living.
So what I do in my role in career services at the university is I help students so as a kindergartner, if you're going to buy new clothes for school, do you go with your parents or your grandma and you go to the store and you try them on and you see if they fit, right? That's kind of what I do. So I help students look at majors or look at areas of study that they might be interested in to see if it fits. And if it fits, then that's probably going to be their major in college, what they'll graduate with. And then when they get close to getting done with college, then it's finding that company or organization that fits them, that works for them, that they get excited about, because there's nothing better than killing the best outfit, right?
Right.
When you have an outfit on where you feel at your best and confident, nothing can top that.
Yeah.
And so if you have a major that you really enjoy, you find an internship or a job that you really enjoy, that just aids really in your life satisfaction.
Awesome. Great analogy, Melissa. I love it. So what can we celebrate for you this week?
This week, well, school starts at the university next week. And
Is it J-term? Do they still call it J-term?
Yeah, they do. Yep, J-term. And what we're celebrating right now at our campus and in my office is we just opened a brand new building on campus.
I heard about that. Okay.
You have to come and see it.
I'm going to. We're going to do lunch. the campus, when I went there, it was single lane highway, and now it is it's so beautiful. And okay, so I graduated in 2000, so 20 years ago, and and it was a beautiful campus then, but now they just keep making it better and better every single year. I'm blown away. I'm like, why can't I be a student again? But I'm well past that.
Sure. Well, and I think one of the things that makes it such a beautiful campus is there's so much green space.
Yes.
And the trees and the flowers. It's so beautiful. And we really haven't compromised that with the growth that we've had in the new buildings, just because like the building that I'm in now was renovated. Yeah. So from the walls, all of the inside was changed. And I would definitely say that it's the most beautiful building in the city of River Falls right now. It's just gorgeous. And walking in there every day is kind of a dream. Oh, it's beautiful.
Cheers to that.
Yes. We're excited. And we have all a lot of different organization departments under one roof. I think there's 14. And so it'll be really easy for students to find their way and find help so much easier than in the past.
Nice.
So if they're talking to somebody and they have a question about financial aid, we can walk them over to financial aid and they can get the help that they need. Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad to hear all the additions and improvements are helping the students. That's so important. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up on a farm in southern Minnesota.
What did you have on your farm?
A really big hog farm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was...
did you take any of the pigs to be your pets?
Well, when I was little, maybe. But then, they left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But so, and we had dogs and we had cats and farm cats and things like that too. So I had other pets as well. But I was really involved in 4-H. And then an FFA, just really kind of grounded in agriculture. My dad worked in agriculture not only as a farmer, but then also for the local meat packing plant. And so he was a hog buyer, is what they were called. And so it was just part of my upbringing. And so I always say ever since I was 12 years old, if people asked me what I wanted to do with my life, I would tell them I want to help farmers be better farmers.
Okay.
And so that's what brought me to UW River Falls, and I received my undergraduate degree in agriculture from UWRF. But for the majority of my 25-year career since college, I've actually worked in higher education and loved every minute of it.
Cool. So how did you stumble into that after getting an ag degree?
I was really active on campus. And so this is, one thing we tell our students is not to put all of your eggs in one basket or only be involved in one type of thing. Really diversify. When you're in high school, when you're in elementary school, when you're in college, in life, it's just such a richer experience if you kind of get out of your lane once in a while. And so I was an orientation leader. I was a campus tour guide. I was involved in committees, and sometimes we say the career finds you. I would say that the career definitely found me.
Oh, cool.
And so I've worked at the University of Wisconsin, Platteville, Oshkosh, and River Falls.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's cool. So we're going to go on a party bus, and you can choose anyone, but they have to be alive.
Okay.
Who is coming on our party bus?
Well, I would definitely first choose PJ Fleck.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm a coach as well. I coach 8th grade girls basketball. Yeah. So my paycheck is not like his. So like zero. But I have a lot of respect for him as a leader, as a motivator. I think that there's so much he's done with that program, taking it from where it is to where it is now with the Minnesota Gopher football team.
Oh, yeah.
And so
what a year they had.
I think that would just be really kind of a fun thing.
That would be. And he's kind of intent, I don't know, I wonder if his intensity would come out. Right. He got a couple cocktails in him.
Right? Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, awesome. What was your first paid job?
So, like I said, I grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And my first paid job was actually pretty bizarre. It was what we called riding the bean bar. And people who don't never lived on a farm.
What kind of bean are we talking about?
Well, like soybeans. But okay. The reason what we did was farmers would build these apparatuses that they kind of made them themselves, and they would hook onto the front of a tractor. And so the farmer, his son or daughter or whoever would drive the tractor, and you would sit on the end in front of the tractor, and you would basically have a gun of Roundup.
Okay.
Right? So that kills
Yep,
like the weeds
yep,
in your garden
yep.
and stuff like that. And so it was our job to know the difference between the plant, right?
Yep.
And the weed, and to kill the weed with the Roundup. And of course today,
Aren't the weeds and the plants close together?
they are, but we would have to be kind of careful, and it was a long gun, and we would,
Oh, it was
I
like
know.
precision weeding.
It kind of was.
Okay.
Yes. But it was a great
Wow.
way to get a tan.
Oh, I bet.
It was no manual labor. You just sat there. And so we got sunburned a few times.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, and the industry has changed so much where that's not needed anymore, where, there's things that only kill the weed now and never kill the plant.
Oh,
And so you find that
fascinating.
even in your own garden or your
Right.
yard, right? You put it on and it doesn't kill the grass.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a different day to day, but that was my first paid job. I think I
Hey.
got $3 an hour.
Wow. Oh my gosh. $3 and maybe it was a cash. No, we won't talk about that. So you progressed in your current role from career counselor to director. What do you attribute your success to?
My team,
Mm-hmm.
really, the people around me, we have had such just really hardworking, dedicated to excellence, always having the students' best interest in mind, people as part of the career services team.
Oh yeah.
When
Well,
you
I've
worked
been
there.
Yeah, and I've been involved volunteering there, I think ever since since 2002, I think. Yeah, 2002. So I've stayed really connected, and the people there, I mean, what you guys do for the students is incredible. And I always ask when people approach me and they're college students, I always say, you should turn to a career services department. Do you know if it exists? Is it strong? Because I'm like, the one at River Falls. I mean, you guys are like the epitome of career services for your students. And I know you help alum as well. So, you do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the team, I can agree with that. What about the different levels of students who have no flippin' idea what they want to do? Where do you send them to start? Or what do you give them as tools to figure out what they want to do?
And that can be really hard. And it's different for every student. A baseline that can be helpful for us is a career assessment that we use with them. It's pretty specific to the different majors that we have on campus, but that doesn't mean that it also doesn't provide information if the student maybe wants to go into nursing. We don't have nursing at UW River Falls, but then that's a conversation that we would have with the student in regards to what we have that might be, healthcare related, or what other programs there might be out there. Our goal is that the student finds success no matter where life takes them. But that career assessment can usually provide at least a opportunity to narrow it down. We have about 50 majors at the university. So with that career assessment, we can at least narrow it down to 5 to 10.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so think about your 18-year-old self. That feels a little more manageable for an 18-year-old than 50.
I know. And the options are endless. So for our listeners who don't have access to that career assessment, what tips do you recommend they look into for figuring out career paths?
Well, focusing on what they like and what they don't like. So that pros and cons list can be really helpful. And sometimes it's not as much the career or the work, but it's the environment and the team. And so are there jobs out there where you can be taught how to do the job, but you're really going to like that culture or atmosphere or the boss? Because you could be doing the same job at two different companies and love it one place and absolutely hate it at another because of those factors. And so really being open to trying new things and meeting with people. So informational interviews, which I know you will do, are fantastic and a great way for somebody to learn more either about a company, an environment, a culture, maybe a boss, or even the job itself is a great way to kind of explore without putting your application even in.
Right. Well, and then those people that you do in informational interviews, if you knock it out of the park, they will remember you. And when they have a job opening, you'll be the first person that they call down the road. So definitely maintain connection to those people as well. So what about mindset barriers that you help students break through to elevate their situations? Like we talked about the confidence piece, but anything specific with mindset or shifting their thinking that comes to mind?
Well, checking in is important, and my staff does such a great job of that. So when you start to work with a student or an alum and you get to know them and kind of their goals, checking in with them once in a while is really important, because sometimes the last thing on their mind is to check in with you, especially after they just received a rejection letter or went through 4 months of interviewing and finally heard that they didn't get the job. And so that might be just the right spark that they need to kind of reinvigorate and start going again. And so a lot of times, especially the alumni that come in and see us kind of just need that fire started again and some tools and maybe some new ideas to reinvigorate that job search.
Sure. So what do you do? Rejection is tough. It's emotional. People get, take it personally. How do you coach people through that? Like, that's just one piece of the puzzle. Keep your eye on your vision. How do you coach them when they're like, but Melissa, I got 10 rejections.
Well, then let's do something different.
Okay.
Right? So does the cover letter need to be tweaked? Does a resume need to look differently? Let's take a risk and maybe even change up the resume completely and send it out there. Or do we need to do several mock interviews? And you help us at mock interview day, which is fabulous. And then maybe there's just a couple things that you're saying in the interview that are keeping you from getting hired. Maybe there's a different way to say that or frame it.
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe this example isn't the best example.
Right.
Let's use an example from over here.
Right.
And so sometimes those things can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Because I tell everyone, it is not the most highly skilled person that gets the job. It's the person who interviews the best. So you better be practicing, because I don't care if you're entry level or a C level, you need to practice and be on your A game to know how to tweak the words that you're going to say to present yourself in the best manner. Definitely. Cheers to that.
Yes. Cheers.
Practice your interviews. Okay.
Don't wing it.
Don't wing it. So we've done StrengthsFinder. Well, yeah, and winging it, I'll tell you this story. So I do a lot of research and reading. I'm just a growth junkie. And I read somewhere that when the human brain is under stress, chemically, you cannot access your long-term memory. So if you don't practice and bring your examples to your short-term memory, like right before you're interviewing, and if you get nervous in an interview, you will totally draw a blank. And you won't be able to access your long-term memory. Yeah. So I tell everyone, I'm like, you got to get those situations and examples top of mind so you can just rattle them off.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm obsessed with the human body and the brain and all that. Anyway, we can talk about that for days. So we've done StrengthsFinder here at Talent Q. I'm curious what other tools are that you guys really like at Career Services that would be open to all of us to access.
So the open to access part of it is kind of hard. You have to pay for
a lot of like
them.
You even have to pay for StrengthsFinder, the book.
Yes.
But like, what could we find on Google that's not just proprietary to you, the Career Services at UW?
Sure. So, many of us are trained in the MBTI. And so
what is that?
That's the Myers-Briggs type indicator.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. And so that's a four-letter code that they give you. And that's one that we use quite a bit in team building and leadership building. I love that one because it's really simple. It's not like, with strengths is awesome and I love it, but there's 32. Yeah. And so they're kind of like all over the place. What's your 5? What's your 5? And with MBTI, there's 4, and I think there's 16 different types.
Right.
And so it's a little bit easier to coach and kind of see where people are and how they're different. The first one is introverted versus extroverted. So we talk, with that, we talk a lot about how it's not always the extroverted person that gets the leadership position or, wins out in the interview process, because we can all be in that extroverted space, even though we're born an introvert. And so it's kind of fun to talk with people about that. And for people, I think the main thing is just to be self-aware of who you are, what your strengths are, and to be understanding that other people aren't like you. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
They don't need to be. And you need to be tolerant of people that are different and celebrate that as much as you celebrate your strengths.
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
Okay.
How long has Myers-Briggs been around? I mean, it's been...
Since after World War II.
Wow. And it still stands. Like, that's fascinating.
You know, some places say it's the personality assessment that's used most across the world.
Wow. I love it. I love it. And I've seen it on Google. So you can Google it and take the assessment, and I'm sure you have to pay for it. You know, we've both spent our fair share working with resumes, reviewing resumes. What's the most common mistake you see on a resume?
Not writing the resume to the job. So using a cookie cutter resume and just sending it out to everywhere and then expecting the same results.
Right.
And it's work. It takes a lot of work. But every resume should be written to that job posting, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort to do that. And so that's one of those simple changes that we can make a lot of times with clients, where once they start doing that, then they start seeing results. Like, oh, I did get an interview, and it's because I wrote it to the job posting.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about tips for applying for jobs? How can people stand out amongst the sea of applicants?
Using the same language.
Yeah.
So again, when you apply for the job, using the same words that are in that job posting. So if it is an applicant tracking system, it's kind of pulling it front of mind. But then also whatever you can do to get in front of somebody on the inside. You know. Absolutely. Networking, making that connection. I know a lot of people who never would have even gotten an interview if it hadn't been for somebody they knew internally. Absolutely. So always trying to meet as many people as you can and making those connections is really important. And you're going to get the door slammed on you, and people are going to say no, and that's okay. Yeah. That's part of the process, but you have to put yourself out there. Yeah. And don't take the no personally. Just keep going. It's them, not you. What about networking tips? What tips can our listeners hear from you, Melissa? Networking is so fun, and I know it's for different. You and me. Yeah, right? Some people get terrified. I know. And it's not for everybody. And so what's really important is that you make a connection. And that connection doesn't have to be work-based. It doesn't have to be about their company or organization or a job or anything like that. It could be something personal. So trying to find that connection, building the conversation off of that, and then going down the road of work, or, you know, maybe deeper an informational interview at some point with that person. But really just trying to make that connection individually, I think, is important. And you feel more comfortable talking about something that, you know as well. Absolutely. So do you have any questions that they can keep in their back pocket to make a personal connection first versus what do you do for a living? So where they live, you know, is something that you can talk about. It kind of depends on your interests as well. I'm a foodie. So, you know, wherever that person lives, I usually know a restaurant or a bakery or something like that nearby. And so I'll bring that up, and then we'll start to talk about that. Oh, fun. And so, you know, because we all eat, a lot of us go out to eat. We have that common interest. So that's something. I'm also really interested in sports. So, you know, we might talk about that, like the Vikings or the Twins or that kind of thing, as well as that common point of interest. I love that. So what's your favorite restaurant? My favorite restaurant? I would probably have to say Spoon and Stable. Oh my God, I love it. Yes. So we went, and I swear to you, I thought there was like a mic, like the table was mic'd or something, or we were being surveillanced, because we did the tasting dinner, and one of the wines I was telling Dustin, my husband, I said, oh, this is not my fave. And I just kind of set it down. Next thing you know, the gal comes over and she's like, oh, I heard you didn't care for this one. And she swapped it out. And I'm like, is there a microphone? I'm like, is there a microphone under this table? But the service and the impact, yes. Have you been to Demi? No, not yet. Oh my God. No. Oh my God. It's on the list. It's really hard to get in. We tried for 4 months. My friend finally got us in after trying for 4 months. Anyway, it's blow your mind. Highly recommend it.
Let's talk failure. So tell me about your biggest failure, or what I like to say, learning, because I think all failures, we learn from them and we grow. And how did you overcome it, Melissa?
You know, I always feel like I could do more for it. It's hard as a director. And I'll work with students and clients, and sometimes I feel like I get to give them more attention than some of my staff because that's the core part of my staff, you know? And so sometimes I see my staff and the follow-up that they do or the preparation that they do before they meet with clients, and I always feel like, oh gosh, I could probably do more. Like they're leading me a little bit in that regard. And so I guess that's just a goal, because they're so hardworking and they care so much for each individual person they meet with.
Sure.
So that kind of inspires me to try and do more.
Got it.
But that's hard when you're in an administrative role and you're in charge of the budget and hiring.
Right.
And, all of those other elements.
Right.
To also do the work. But that's what I love about my job, because I'm a working director. I get to do the work that they all do as well.
That's cool. So how do you find people that are going to care for each individual person that comes to you guys for assistance?
Well, sometimes it doesn't work out. We've hired people or interns where maybe it wasn't the best fit for them, or even student workers. You can usually tell by the work that they've done in the past. Many of us have the same kind of education. So a graduate degree in something probably related to education or leadership, that definitely tells you that they're passionate about working on a college campus or, making a difference in the area of education. And that's not an easy thing. A master's degree isn't an easy thing to do or get. And so, and then the references, of course, it's a small world. And so
small.
A lot of people that I can call and say, what do you think about this person? Or what do you think if we hire them into this role? Will it be an easy transition? And we've been really lucky to have just people come to us where I could pick up the phone and call another university and they could say, yeah, slam dunk.
Nice.
You want to hire this person.
Nice. I love it. So what's the best advice you can give the job seekers out there listening today?
Work hard.
Yes, work hard.
You can't expect great things if you don't do great things.
Right.
Or at least put yourself out there to do them. And I think that sometimes people think, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get this degree, and then I'm going to have this great job. That's not how it works.
No.
You have to work really, really hard along the way, and not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well. And so also for that student that has to work while they're in school.
That was me.
Right?
That's why I wasn't involved on campus. It was tough. Like I worked 40 hours a week, and you talk about all these, like I wish I could have done that, but I couldn't. I had to pay for my college, for my housing, my car, everything. And I even had scholarships.
Yeah. But you try and make it work. And so we work with a lot of students who work 40 hours a week or even more. So can we turn, whatever you're doing, can we turn that into an internship? Can we have you work 20 hours here and maybe 10 or 15 over here, where then it is considered an internship or a different experience? And so really kind of talking through that so it's not so scary to make those changes either for the student, I think is really important.
Right.
But to get as many different experiences as they can.
Yeah, it's so important. So important. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Melissa. Where can we find you?
What do you mean? Like my office?
Like LinkedIn?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
How do we connect with you?
I'm parked out back.
I'm in Hudson, Wisconsin right now.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. Absolutely. So in that space, you can find me on our website as well at UW River Falls. You might see me at some chamber events for the Hudson Chamber as well, because I work with them a little bit. So yeah, definitely LinkedIn would be the best place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much. Oh, you have to. So she's wearing this black blazer and she folds her cuffs like I do. And they are female, I'm totally.
DC Comic Heroes.
Yes. It's got Wonder Woman. I don't know this Superwoman. Who's this?
Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
They're villains too.
It is so cool. I got to get me one of those. I love it.
So fun.
For all of you job seekers who are extremely frustrated and want to learn how to love your Mondays, go to cruiseandcocktails.com. You can pick up my book, I Hate Mondays. You can also find it on Amazon. For you hiring leaders who want to find the best talent, I also have a free downloadable guide on secrets to finding great talent. And wanted to let you know on LinkedIn, I have been designated as one of the best resume writers and career coaches. So go to careersandcocktails.com to find out more as well. If you've liked this episode, be sure to share it with all your friends, subscribe, click the bell, and please rate us on iTunes if you're listening to it there. Cheers!
Cheers!